Now, I want to welcome everyone who's new-ish, especially our military community and our friends joining us online. Would you give it up for everyone who's new, especially our military? We love them. So glad y'all are here, especially y'all joining us online. Now's the time to click subscribe, and we love it when you check in wherever you're at. Thank you for helping us spread the word. We're so thankful for you. Last week, I challenged you to start with something called quiet time, something new. Start the day quiet in God's presence. And so many of you, based on conversations or you tagging us online on Instagram, so many of you did it. And I want to just celebrate and clap for everyone who tried something new, a little out of their comfort zone. And if that is you, or maybe you missed it, I would challenge you, hey, rest of January, let's try this together to have that discipline, have that habit together. Last week's challenge was for you. This week's challenge is maybe for you, but it may also be for someone you don't know. And all this month, all this series, we're going to be challenging you, so get used to it. And if you like a challenge, this one's for you. This is a time where we look back and reflect on all that God has done in the last year. It's just a natural time to do that. And God does a lot in these walls, but we are always not wanting to forget what he does beyond these walls. Something that we love to celebrate is our podcast, the Ascent Church podcast. It's an audio version of the sermon, and God is doing some incredible things there. And I just want to celebrate with you just for a second. Our church is about 5 years old, and we're celebrating this year. We hit a really cool milestone. We've hit 80,000 downloads of the podcast, which is a big deal, and we're thankful. Because our heart is to carry the gospel outwards. And the fact that 80,000 people have heard the gospel is just a really cool thing. And that's awesome. But I want to celebrate this, that our church's podcast reached 41 different countries this year alone, which is awesome. Because some of that, it's military families deployed, which is awesome. And some of us, these are people who've maybe they're in a different country, they've never heard the gospel before. So this is an incredible thing, and we want to keep this momentum going. Let's reach 41 more countries this year. All right, let's keep the gospel moving forward. And the podcast is great. It's a great invite tool. It's a great midweek listen. It's a great, because so many of you are new, to look back on a sermon from last year or a series that you missed, and you want to grow and learn it. And our challenge this week is this. And this is for someone who's deployed. This is for someone who is doing some cardio. This is for someone who's washing the dishes. We want to keep our podcast moving forward. This week's challenge is this, is to subscribe to the Ascent Church podcast and to leave a rating or review. Here's why. Because we found that ratings boost reach. One of the main ways people find out about us is because you have rated it and it just pops up. So some of y'all this week, you're going to get on your phone, you're going to look up one of those murder mystery podcasts you love so much. And you've heard all of them, but you're going to be looking for one more, and then Ascent Church is going to pop up. And you say, what is that about? And it's crazy that God is working through that, but he absolutely is. So if you have an iPhone, open Apple Podcasts. We'd love for you to do this right now. Click subscribe, scroll down, and leave a quick rating. If you're a weirdo and have an Android, oh, I'm sorry. Don't act like you've never heard that before. You're acting surprised. If that's you, you can find us on Spotify. So we'd love to hang out with you there. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to share other podcasts on Instagram all this week. We're going to give other churches, other communicators. So if you haven't connected with us, let's connect. You can find me at pastor.tlane, and the church is at Ascent Church VA. But we want to encourage you and come alongside you all week long. Thank you guys in advance for doing that and to help us to continue to spread the gospel. Let's read this passage one more again. Hebrews 4, 9 through 10. It says, there remains then a Sabbath rest. Somebody say Sabbath rest. Good. For the people of God. For anyone who enters God's rest also rests from their works, just as God did from his. Here's the question. What is Sabbath? What is rest? Now, I could give you some theological statement, and some of you nerds desperately want that. But instead, how about I tell you a story? Is that okay? Okay, the nerds are sad. Okay, this is what Sabbath is. This is the best example I could think of. A few weeks ago, told a story about my 7-year-old son. Told a story about him. And the next week, my 4-year-old son was mad that I didn't tell a story about him. He didn't ask. Later that day, he was like, I thought you were going to tell a story about me. And he actually got really sad. So this is for my 4-year-old son. This is for Dempsey. He's awesome. This is a story about him, okay? He has had a great year because we've been really into our bikes this year. All right, you start on a tricycle, and then you move up, you know what I'm talking about, to the big boy bike. Okay, right? It's got the training wheels, it's got the whole setup, and the way you stop a bike like that is you pedal backwards. It's very easy to do, right? You can't really fall over, you pedal backwards, you stop, and he mastered the big boy bike. So much so, we took off the training wheels, and he's hauling, so much so, he's gotten so big, he has graduated to his older brother's bike. This is a big deal in the world of a 4-year-old. It's a big deal. It's a big situation. And he can get on the bike. He can pedal the bike. He can go fast on the bike. He can steer the bike. He loves riding the bike, but he cannot stop the bike, which is actually a major problem if you plan to go anywhere. And you may be riding through my neighborhood one day, and you might say, oh, there's the Lane family on a stroll. And you'll see Helen pushing baby Eva in the carriage. And you'll see my oldest son, Thomas IV, T4, on his bike, leading the way, zooming around. And then you'll see Dempsey riding his bike and me sprinting to keep up with them. Because that's how it goes. Because he cannot stop it. His hands are too small. His old bike, you could pedal backwards to stop it. Not anymore. You have to grab these little handlebars, you know what I'm saying? This little handle, you squeeze it, it stops it. His fingers can't reach it. He can't stop. So the way we stop the bike is as he's going, at any moment, he yells out, I can't stop! I can't stop! I can't stop! And my job is to come alongside him, grab the handlebars, and stop him. That is the Sabbath. Because, friends, we can't stop. We cannot stop taking on too much. We cannot stop having too many appointments, too many side hustles, too many things on our calendar. We cannot, not only slow down, we can't stop. And the Sabbath is your heavenly Father running alongside you and grabbing the bike and making you stop, because we've proven we cannot do it ourselves. Now, the Sabbath was introduced this is an old school culture. They don't got smartphones. They don't got overtime. They don't have any of that. And they still struggled with it. How much more do we? I heard it said this, now with technology, we can work anywhere. So you know what we do? We work everywhere. It creeps into things. And I've never met anyone, I've never had a conversation with someone and said, how are you doing? And they said, you know what? I'm not busy at all. I don't have anything going on. Things are relaxed with the kids, at work. Do you have anything you need help with? Because I got nothing going on. It's never happened. It's never happened. Which tells us this. It's something about sin. It's something about human nature. We cannot stop. God's gift to us is the rest. It's the Sabbath. Today, the title of the sermon is called this. It's called Focusing on Mental Health. Focusing on mental health. Because at least with me, when my mental health starts to tank, it's because I've neglected the Sabbath. I haven't rested, haven't been sleeping, haven't been intentional at home. Now, this will not fix every little struggle you have. But I truly believe if this year you prioritize rest and rhythms and Sabbath, that you'll be able to focus on your mental health better, that it will improve it. Now, this may be the year that you finally go to a counselor or a therapist. I go to one. It's incredible. And if you need that little push, especially if you're a dude, it's something you can even do it online now. You might want to check it out. Who knows what God could do through that? But today, we're talking about Sabbath. We're talking about rest. We're talking about focusing on my mental health. One of my favorite books is by Jim Collins, and it's called How the Mighty Fall. And I love when a secular study lines up with biblical truth. It's so fun for me to see. And this book is basically how these big companies that you thought would go nowhere fall. It's very interesting. For example, who here loves Target? We're the ladies who love Target. Half y'all are lying to me. Where I see some men putting their wives' hands up. Where are the men whose ladies love Target? Okay, some of y'all are like, do I lie or what do I do? Okay, Target's the place to be. Some of y'all don't know, 20 years ago, Target was not the place to be. You know what the place to be was? It was Kmart. Kmart was the deal. That's the same, it was the equivalent. I'm going on a Target run. No, you didn't go to Target run. You went to Kmart. Okay, and they had something called the Blue Light Special. And you'd be shopping, minding your own business, and someone would come on the intercom. This is not a joke. And there'd literally be a blue light above an item. And the sale started, and you would get to the item, and it would be like, ooh, Tostitos are half off today. Sounds stupid, but it was an exciting thing to be a part of. I don't know if Kmart's gone, but it ain't doing so good if it's not gone yet. Rest in peace, Kmart. Rest in peace. What about Blockbuster? I know. Y'all are sad. That was a legitimately sad response. Like someone kicked a puppy up here or something. Oh. Right? And I feel old talking to the young people, but it is the lamest thing on the planet if there's a new movie out that all you got to do is sit on the couch and hit play. No streaming, that's so disappointing. You'll never have the thrill of getting home from school and rushing the Blockbuster and looking behind all the covers of the VHSs and finding the last copy that your friend isn't even going to get to see it, and you're going to hold it over his head all week long. I know this is weird. There was limited copies. Okay, with streaming, it's not a thing, obviously, but Blockbuster had like 20 copies, and if you didn't get it, you had to wait like 4 days. Okay? And Blockbuster had everything, man. They had the popcorn, they had the bunch of crunch in the box. Lord, it was an experience. It was amazing. Nothing like it. But even Blockbuster didn't make it. Rest in peace. How did these great, big companies fall? Well, here's how. According to this study. And these weren't included in the study. These are my two favorites, things I missed. But the first step of decline is something called hubris born of success. It's a fancy word for pride. Pride born of success. Basically, a company looks around and says, we can't go wrong. We can do anything. And we can do everything. And they do more and more and more. Let's take that company over. And let's add a place here, and let's go into areas we're not familiar with. Let's do more. That's the first stage of decline. That leads to the second stage of decline when things really start to go bad. It's called the undisciplined pursuit of more. And this is when a company, because of pride, says, we can't go wrong, and we do more and more and more and more. And you say, so what? Well, that phrase might describe your calendar. The undisciplined pursuit of more. More clients, more side hustles, more opportunities, more commitments. Can't say no, gotta do the PTA. Can't say no, gotta help with that thing in the neighborhood. Can't say no, gotta do baseball and soccer and travel soccer and tutors and coaches. And before you know it, you're not investing in your health. You're not investing in your marriage. You hadn't even seen your kids, but taken them to events here and there. And what you need to know is what often causes us to fall is overreaching and overcommitting, not laziness and complacency. Now, laziness and complacency will get you too. It will. I'm not saying it won't. But what they found about companies and what I've seen about families, it's doing too much, not too little, which can destroy you. The undisciplined pursuit of more. I want you to look at your calendar. And I want you to say, who put this there? Is this the undisciplined pursuit of more? I heard someone say this wrecked me. If you don't plan your life, someone else will plan it for you. Has someone else planned your life? Because you were afraid to say no. Because, well, we could fit it in maybe. Because you do have that 1 hour, that one time, and they did me a favor 10 years ago, and I feel like I should say no. That was a little too personal for someone. Hebrews chapter 4, 9 through 10, one more time. It says, there remains then a Sabbath rest for the people of God. For anyone who enters God's rest also rests from their works, just as God did from his. Now, this is a weird phrase. Just as God did from his. God rested? That sounds funny to us because biblically and culturally, we look at rest two different ways. We see rest as something that we're only going to do when we're like basically dead. Like we will take some time off if like we're like sick, or like our spouse is upset about something, or our kids need attention, then we're like, okay, then I'll rest. No days off, hustle culture, grind. Is that you? Is that you? Is that how you view rest? Only when you're absolutely tired. If that's biblical, then why did God rest? Was God tired? Did God create the universe and say, I need a day off? I'm exhausted. No. Here's how God views rest. Tim Keller has this great sermon on this. It's called Work and Rest. And he looks at God creating the universe. He looks at the book of Genesis, which I encourage you to read. He looks at it and he sees God creating the universe. And God creates something on a day, and then he looks back and says, that's good. And then he creates something else, and then he says, you know what? That's good. And then he creates something else. He says, that's good. And at the very end, at the end of day 6, everything's created, and God said, this is all very good. The Hebrew literally says it's good. And then God rests. And Tim Keller says this. He says that, what is God doing? Is he resting because he's tired? No. Rest comes from being satisfied. God wasn't tired. God said it's good. It's enough. It's done. For you to be able to look at your calendar and say, I'm killing it as a mom. I'm not the perfect mom, but I'm enough. This is enough. Done. You know what? We have a lot of things here and there, but you know what? This is good. This is okay. I can step back and leave this alone. Being content with what you have and not having to always grind and struggle and strive. Who's filling up your calendar? Because rest comes from being satisfied. It comes from this deep-seated confidence for you to be able to look and say, you know what? I know my salvation is complete. I don't got to go earn it. I know my identity is done and finished and complete in him as a son or daughter of the King. I can just leave that alone. You know what? I know my future is in heaven. You know what? I know who holds tomorrow, so I rest. I can stop. I can let things go. Why do you act as if the universe is yours to control? And as if you take a day off, or heaven forbid, a week, 2 weeks, a month, as if everything's going to come crashing down. Why do we act like that? Why do we live like that? It is so quiet right now. No one's moving. That means I'm hitting on something. That's great. You see, some of us don't Sabbath at all. We don't even try. Like last week we talked about quiet time, and I'm not mad at you. Some of us, you're like, dude, I'll be honest. I don't have a day. I don't pretend to. I don't try to. Like, I don't. Some of us do. We're like, this is family day, but it's not a good Sabbath. It's a sloppy Sabbath. Do you have a sloppy Sabbath? Why is this so fun to say? Like, you're like, well, this is my Sabbath. Okay, tell me about your day. Tell me about your day of rest and restoration and being filled and recharged and focusing on God's goodness. Okay, well, here's my Sabbath. Well, we're going to sleep in. Well, just a few more minutes because we got to get to soccer practice. And then we got baseball across town, so we got to leave a little bit early to get to that. And then we got to swing by Home Depot just for a few things if we have enough time. And then I got a few work emails. Not many, just a few work emails. I forgot to get to that thing. I got to address that. Then I got to follow up with one client. And then I got a kid's birthday party we got to go to. And then we'll just take it easy. The least stressful thing on the planet is a child's birthday party. The next time you're at a kid's birthday party, ask yourself, am I being restored? No! It's utter chaos. I think the book of Leviticus says something about it's not permitted on the Sabbath. I don't know. It's somewhere in there. Somewhere it is. But we fool ourselves into thinking this is going to set me up for success this week. I love you, but no wonder we're struggling to handle the challenges of life. Because we're not resting. We're not recharging. We're not focusing on him and his good works. We're not looking at our family. We're not spending our time. We're not enjoying it. Part of creation, when God steps back and says it's good, you know what he's doing? He's enjoying it. Some of you eat so fast with 10 conversations going on and the TV on, you're not actually enjoying and tasting your food. Sometimes you take a bite and say, that's good. Some of you finish a workout, you need to finish it and complete it and sit back and, man, that was good. Some of you need to look your kids in the eye and hug them and say, man, this is good. I love you. We're going so fast through life, we don't take the time to enjoy it, to soak it in, and as a result, we're not fully being restored. I don't want you to look back 20, 30 years from now and say, I fast forwarded through my entire life. I got a lot done. Made a lot of money. I was very productive. I was reliable. When someone called me, I was there for them. Went to a lot of sports practices, went to a lot of kids' parties. But you know what? When I look back at my life, I missed it. Because I was always half present. Is that you? Is that your story? Why do we Sabbath? Justin Huffman, he's a pastor in Canada. I should say Canada. Said this. This is why we Sabbath. He said, the principle of weaving, love that, because you got to be super intentional. Regular, Christ-centered rest into our schedule is a piece of divine brilliance. A revelation that, while clearly counterintuitive to many of us, is not easy, it's not natural, but it's for our flourishing and God's glory. Is your day off? Is your time off for your flourishing and for God's glory? That's your checklist. Look at your calendar. Do I have a day that's for my flourishing? And it's not selfish for you to do this, by the way. God did it. You can do it. The Bible's telling us to do it. Is my rest, my family's rest, for my flourishing and for God's glory? And if it's not, we need to reevaluate. That's why we do it. But let's get down to the what. What is it exactly? He said this, Sabbath rest should, at the very least, consist of intentional time to pull away from every other pursuit or obligation. My phone's down, my computer's down. I'm actually looking at my kids when they talk. And instead, feast on who God is in Christ. Whatever day it is, use this principle to help you and your family see your dependence on Christ, your need for rest, and that Christ is your strength. And you cannot do it at a kid's birthday party. Can't do it. Can't do it at Home Depot. Can't do it. Can't do it just making those few little work emails. You cannot do it. Are you lying to yourself saying that you'll slow down next season? Because that's what I do to myself. I'll slow down when? When summer starts, we'll slow down. When basketball's done, we'll slow down. When I hit this number, we'll slow down. Then we can slow down. Are you lying to yourself? Going from one thing to the next. Are you choosing a life of unsustainable grasping that leads to burnout? Or one of rest, rhythms, and finishing well? Choose. Choose. Choose how your story will be told. You want to enjoy life? You want to soak it in? You want to be really present at work, really present with your spouse? Recharge, healthy? Or you want to just grasp through things, limp through things? Friends, God's plan is for us to rest. It's for us to have rhythms. It's for us to be okay to say no to things and to not overcommit. To lean on Him and get our strength from Him and Him alone. That's the Sabbath. That's the Sabbath. Verse 11, I love this. He said this. He said, let us therefore make every effort to enter that rest. Some translations say, let us strive to enter that rest, which sounds counterproductive. Strive to rest? Make every single effort to take a day off? What? But you know that's how it is. You know that's how it is. You got to be intentional. Let us therefore make every effort to enter that rest so that no one will perish. by following their example of disobedience. What's he talking about? He's talking about the Exodus, Moses and Joshua. God's people were disobedient, and they didn't enter the promised land. They didn't rest. And what the author of Hebrews is telling us is basically, you have this choice. You have this choice, and to make every effort to enter that rest so you're not like them and you perish. Don't perish in the wilderness. In Scripture, some things are hard like this, but there's a sense in which God's rest is here now, but it's not fully consummated. You can access it now, you can have it now, you can live in that rest and peace now, but also it will be fully consummated later. Get a taste of it now. You can experience it now, but it's not fully here. Friends, striving to rest sounds counterintuitive, but rest just doesn't happen. This is life or death. This is win or lose. And moms, I know you're feeling overwhelmed right now. Dads, I know you got a lot of things going on. Students, I know there's distractions everywhere. But let us make every effort to enter that rest so that no one will perish. Every effort. Every effort. It's on you. It's on us. Together. But God ain't going to leave you hanging. When you're on that bike that seems to be spinning out of control, you can yell out, I can't stop, and he'll help you stop. He'll come alongside you and help you stop and help you slow down. Do you want to improve your mental health? Do you want to be able to sleep better and be more present and enjoy life more and soak it in more and not be overburdened and exhausted? Here's what we need to talk about. If you write one thing down today, I hope you write this down. Peace is not a place. I talk to so many people, and you treat peace as a place. I'll have peace when I finally change jobs. I'll have peace once the summer begins. I'll have peace when I finally get in a relationship. I'll have peace when I finally get married. I'll have peace when I finally am in, not in this place, but I'm in that place. But friends, peace is not a place. Peace is a person. Rest is not a place. Rest is a person. And you can know him and you can walk with him today. Helen and I the other night were talking about the last 5 years. And we were kind of joking, kind of serious. We were thinking, how did we get through the last 5 years? How did we do it? And we're serious, but we're also kidding. We're like, how did we sell the house and move and start the church and move the church location multiple times and build this out and get through COVID and have kids who are sick in the hospital? How did we get through it? And you know what we realized? We realized peace is not a place. You know what we realized? We realized that we were not alone. And I'm looking at someone going through it. And you're looking in the mirror thinking, how am I going to get through this disappointment? How am I going to get through uncertainty? How am I going to get through this trial? And here's how: because you are not alone. He's with you in the journey. He's with you every single step of the way. Peace is not a place. Peace is a person. And you can find peace whatever life is throwing at you because he's with you. Because you're not doing this alone. Because he's not going to let you crash. You are not alone. Friends, the gospel is this: that you and I are more sinful and flawed than we'd ever believe. Yet at the exact same time, we're more loved and accepted in him than we could ever dare hope. I heard a preacher say the other day, and he's just wrong. He's just wrong. He said the Bible is man's search for God. No. The Bible is God's search for you. Jesus came to seek and to save you, to find you, to redeem you, to die in your place. He came as your substitute. He came to rescue you. He came to take your place. On the cross, he took the punishment for your sin. He took death so you could have life. He was laid low so you could be lifted up. And I don't want you to miss this. He took restlessness so you could have rest. He lost peace so you could have peace. On the night in which he was betrayed, that whole night he had no peace. He was tossing and turning and crying out. He was getting slapped and spit on and beat. And on the cross, see him. He was there writhing. He was there lost. He was there in pain. He did that for you. He took restlessness so you could have rest. He lost peace so you could have peace. Friends, what are you going to do with this gift? Because peace can be yours today. Rest can be yours today in the midst of crazy circumstances, because peace is not a place. Peace is a person. Rest is not a place. Rest is a person. His name is Jesus Christ. I'm going to ask you, what are you going to do with this life he's given you? Are you going to let someone else fill up your calendar? Or are you going to intentionally do it in a way that honors him? Are you going to live a life that's grasping and you're always exhausted and you feel like you're not present? Or are you going to live a life with rhythms, rest, peace, and joy? The choice is yours. Pray with me.